everyone present at this session. I, Reshma Hayat, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Law, Integral University, welcomes you all in the today's session of the Faculty Development Program. The Faculty of Law, Integral University, Lucknow, in association of Indian universities under the aegis of Human Resource Development Center, is conducting one-month faculty development program on the theme Integration of Intellectual Property Rights Principles into Teaching, Research and Professional Activities. Today, we have fifth session of our FGP on the topic of today's session is integration of IPR in academia and professional development program. And to deal with this topic, we have today's resource person Professor Dr. Sonabar Esmi, ma'am. Ma'am is working as a professor and head in the Department of Biosciences, Integral University, Lucknow, and assistant director at the Center of Excellence in Interdisciplinary Research, ICEIR, Integral University, Lucknow. She obtained her master's degree in biotechnology from IBU, Aligarh Muslim University, and her PhD in biotechnology from Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research, Chandigarh. About MAM's research, she has successfully completed two research projects founded by DBT and SERB and a principal investigator. She has been nominated for the SERB Star Science and Technology Award for Research Award as the project under YSS LS scheme, which has successfully completed by her and which was rated excellent by the review committee. About her publication, her work has been published in many peer-reviewed and international journals. Ma'am is also the integral part of the university audit cell and also the apt person to enlighten us on this topic. So without wasting much time, I welcome Professor Dr. Sanobar Esmi, ma'am, for her insightful thoughts. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Hayat, for such a generous introduction. At the outset, I must thank the Faculty of Law and Association of Indian Universities, along with HRDC, for giving me an opportunity to speak in this very wonderful and pertinent FDP on integration of intellectual property rights into teaching, research, and professional activities. As you already said, I would be speaking on integration of IPR in academia and professional development programs. Now, before I move on to the talk and before I tell you why we should integrate IPR in academia and professional development programs, I would like to emphasize that this integration of IPR in academia and PDP is an apt step for the alignment uh, of programs which can be culminated in attaining knowledge, becoming the knowledge superpower in 2030, and it will be in alignment with the vision of Viksit Bharat for 2047. See, we integrating IPR would help us in fostering innovations and would create an ecosystem for being the economic hub of creativity and being in the global indices where we can contribute to in the global stakeholdership. So therefore, integration of IPR in academia and professional development programs has to be taken with utmost care, and it has to be given the importance that it deserves, because Viksit Bharat 2047 vision and being a knowledge superpower in 2030 will only be possible when we think of creating innovations. So intellectual property rights, integration of intellectual property rights into academic and professional development programs is crucial for fostering innovation, promoting economic growth, and empowering individuals and organizations to harness the power of their creative endeavors. Now, why is it important for organizations to harness the power of their creative endeavors? See, this harnessing and leveraging our intellectual assets would put us in a great footing on a great footing for attaining 2030 status, and it will also help us become the global superpower for knowledge creation. Besides that, we can also contribute to socio-economic well-being of the region where we are creating awareness for IPRs. So integration is really important. We'll also be equipping individuals with a comprehensive understanding of IPR. When we equip individuals with a comprehensive understanding of IPR, we empower them to create, protect, and leverage their intellectual assets, fostering a culture of innovation and responsible knowledge creation. Now, responsible knowledge creation means that from early on, we'll be aware of ethical use of creations. We'll be aware of what copyright means. We'll be aware why we should not infringe somebody's intellectual property rights, and we would also think twice before taking trade secrets from somebody else. Therefore, it creates a culture of innovation, and we also become a part of responsible knowledge creation. You might have, over the past 5 days, you might have heard a lot about the spectrum of IPR. I would just give you a quick recap of the spectrum of IPR. IPR includes patents. Patents protect inventions offering exclusive rights to use, sell, or make the invention for a limited period. Patents are essential for incentivizing research and development, as they allow inventors to recoup their investment and commercialize their invention. So, over traditionally, we were in the process of not monetizing our research ideas, not rather not ideas, the products that were coming out of research and development. So we were not in the culture was such that we would not incentivize research and development, and we would not think about monetizing our the products that we achieve through our research and development. Patents, the IPR policy and the patents give us uh, create an awareness about how we can incentivize research and development, because they allow inventors to recoup their investment and commercialize their inventions. Copyrights protect original works of authorship such as books, music, and software. It also grants exclusive rights to reproduce, adapt, and distribute the work, ensuring that the creators receive proper recognition and compensation for their creative efforts. Trademarks. Till now, many of you might be quite clear about what trademarks are, but I would still want to recap on this. Trademarks protect distinctive symbols, logos, and phrases that identify a particular product or service. Trademarks help consumers identify and differentiate products, fostering brand recognition and protecting the reputation of businesses. So, trademarks are very important for branding of a product. It also creates a reputation for the product. So that is why when you look at a logo which has to be the authentic logo, you clearly have a confidence in that particular product, because it would help in brand recognition. Then trade secrets are confidential information that provides the business with a competitive advantage. They can include formulae, processes, unit processes, and customer lists. While there are no policies for formally saving the trade secrets, but through confidentiality agreements and other protocols, we can protect the intellectual property rights associated with trade secrets. Herein, I would give you an idea about the historical evolution of IPR. Now, as I said earlier, that traditionally we would not think about monetizing the products that were coming out of the research, but then early forms of IPR did exist. For example, the Roman Empire had laws protecting inventions and designs. uh, with the advent of industrial revolution and the advent of industrial revolution gave rise to patents. The industrial revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries spurred significant technological advancements, leading to the development of modern patent systems to protect inventions and encourage further innovation. So whenever there is ample protection, it encourages further innovation. It's very natural and organic that whenever people feel safe, whenever they feel safe that their inventions would be protected, it fosters a culture of innovation. International agreements and harmonization. The 20th century saw the emergence of international agreements like the Paris Convention for Protection of Industrial Property and the Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works, fostering global harmonization of IPR laws. So the IPR laws across the globe we were able to harmonize the IPR laws across the globe because of the emergence of international agreements like the Paris Convention and the Berne Convention. We now live in a digital era, and with the digital era new challenges have arisen. The digital era has brought new challenges to IPR, such as protecting software, digital content, and online trademarks. Therefore, the need of the hour is to create new legal frameworks and enforcement mechanisms have to be developed to address these challenges, because many of you must have read, many of us have also come across studies where we must have seen that with the advent of digital age and artificial intelligence, lot of issues would arise because of the confusion regarding who the creator is going to be, who is the owner of a particular intellectual property right, which is being generated by AI or which is being generated digitally. Therefore, we live in an era where newer challenges would arise, and we would require innovation, and we would require to create new legal frameworks and mechanisms to address those issues. Traditionally, WIPO has the World Intellectual Property Organization is a specialized organization or agency of the United Nations that is dedicated to promoting the protection of intellectual property rights throughout the world. So WIPO, we know it as WIPO. WIPO is World Intellectual Property Organization. What are its roles? Its roles are technical assistance, so it provides technical assistance which covers a wide range of areas, including legal framework, development, training, and capacity building for IP offices, policy support to the developing for developing IP policies across countries. This includes providing expertise on international IP standards and best practices, as well as helping to shape IP strategy for a particular region or a particular country. And they also ensure that the IPR laws are harmonized across the globe. Then the WIPO also helps in dispute resolution. WIPO administers various international dispute resolution mechanisms, which includes arbitration and mediation center. This provides a neutral forum for resolving IP disputes between parties from different countries, including India. WIPO fosters international cooperation. It facilitates international cooperation on IP matters, helping to promote harmonization of IP laws and standards around the world. This is crucial. Now, harmonization of IP laws across the world is crucial because everybody needs a fair playing field. We need to have fair trade practices, and all businesses and individuals should be operating at a should we have to ensure a level playing field for all businesses and individuals operating in a global market place. So WIPO has a long list of roles and responsibilities, and uh, WIPO has been making sure through its policies and by implementation of its policies, it has been making sure that the matters are resolved properly. The disputes are resolved, and the policy support is given to each and every country. The intellectual property rights in India have seen a substantial uh, enhancement in the quality of patents that have been filed, the quantity of patents that have been quantity as well as quality of patents that have been filed from India. India intellectual property IP India, as we know it, it refers to patents, copyrights, and other intangible assets in India. Besides that, we also have geographical indications, designs, semiconductor integrated circuit layouts, and plant varieties as the different forms of intellectual property rights that are recognized in India by Intellectual Property India. So, to promote the culture of innovation, IP India has announced multiple schemes and multiple awareness programs so that people in higher education institutes and other research institutes can take advantage of these initiatives and and they can help in becoming partners in uh, promoting economic growth of India. India is already at the third number. The growth rate of India has projected it to be the third. Projected it to be at the third place because of its economic growth rate. And IP or protection of IPR would obviously enhance the stature of our country. So IP India has a big role to play. They have also announced National Intellectual Property Awards 2024, which they will be. There are five categories in which the National Intellectual Property Awards will be given off. These are GI for promotion and protection, enforcement of IP, how the institutions are enforcing IP policies, best incubator award, startups, best startup initiative award. R&D institutions would be evaluated for their contribution towards intellectual property rights. Then Indian academic institution, how collaborative they have been and how their inventions have uh, fostered innovation. They will be evaluated on that. And Indian individuals who Indian individuals who have filed for patents, designs, and trademarks. So these are the 11 categories in which National Intellectual Property Awards will be given off. So this initiative itself is a testament that the intellectual property India is really working towards sensitization, creating sensitization and awareness regarding the importance of IPR and protection of IPR in India. The key initiatives of IP India have been the formulation of National Intellectual Property Rights Policy 2016. This policy aims to promote a robust and balanced IP regime in India, fostering innovation, creativity, and economic growth. It emphasizes the importance of intellectual property as a strategic asset for national development. So, IP or the intellectual property is an asset for national development. If we want to be the knowledge superpower, we have to harness the uh, human capital resource that we have and the intellectual assets that are associated with the human capital resource that India has. IPR Strategy 2016 was also a key initiative of IP India. This strategy is a comprehensive roadmap for developing and implementing the strong and effective IPR system in India. So, a roadmap was put forth by IP India in 2016, which gave us uh, a map of how we can strengthen the IPR culture, IPR system in India. It focuses on strengthening IP administration, promoting awareness, and lastly, the idea is to foster innovation in any case and to monetize these innovations for promoting economic growth of the country. National Intellectual Property Rights Policy 2020. The 2020 policy further strengthens India's commitment to a robust and balanced IPR regime. It outlines measures to promote innovation, enhance awareness, and ensure effective enforcement of IPR rights in India. So, effective enforcement of rights, whether in IPR or in any other initiative, uh, is an important aspect. So, our NIPR policy 2020 lays emphasis on effective enforcement of IPR rights in India. Then we also have the Startup India initiative. Startup India initiative provides a range of benefits to startups, including simplified IP registration processes and access to funding and support for intellectual property protection. It aims to encourage innovation and entrepreneurial activity in India. Now, creating these initiatives by simplifying the registration process and by simplifying the access to funding, we create a feasible and user-friendly ecosystem which would be beneficial for the investors and which would also be beneficial for the people who are seeking this funding for creating the startup. So, Startup India initiative is also one of the key initiatives of IP India. I would also like to share some trends in IPR according to the annual report on IPR, which was put forth by IPO, the Indian Patent Office. The trends in IPR filing have been increasing. They have been substantially increasing, which again buttresses the fact that India is moving from a developing country to a developed country very fast, and we are paying full attention to IPR as being the as being the asset to nation building. So, if we see this data, there is in 2023 itself, overall filing of applications for various IPRs has been higher as compared to the previous year, exhibiting an overall increase of 5.94%. So 5.94% overall increase has been observed. So this data has been collated from IPR offices across the country under the administrative control of Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks (CGPD) TM. So the Controller General of Patents, Designs and Trademarks. So they have consolidated this data from offices which lay in administrative control of this particular nodal office. So over the years, consistent growth has been seen in patent filing uh, and applications of various IPRs. So if we look at this picture, patent, design, trademark, GI, copyright, SCILD, all the parameters have been increasing. So this 2022-23, you can see that all the parameters have shown gradual increase. Trends in patent applications. So during 2023, a total of 82,811 patent applications were filed, and domestic filing also increased. And if we look at this particular picture here, the number of patents that were disposed of means the disposal of cases was also higher, which means that the process of IP examination and disposal of the granting of the patents was also expedited. So expeditation, the since the processes were expedited, obviously the number of patents uh, granted also increased. So this trend here is a positive trend because it tells us that the patent offices are uh, are helping, are expediting the process. The red tapeism has been reduced without compromising on the stringency of the processes. So the stringency of the processes have been kept intact, but the process has been expedited, which has helped us in attaining the status of 40th number. Like we are 40th in the global innovation index. India is placed at the 40th position in the global innovation index. So the trends in patent application also increased. Trends in design applications also increased from increased by 53.3%. And here you can see the 5-year trend in design applications. Trademark application, similarly, the trademark applications also increase. So gradually, like over the past 5 years, there has been a consistent increase or growth in the IPR property that we have created. Trends in GI indication applications during 2023, 211 applications were filed, 100 applications were examined, and 55 GIs were registered. So in the GI, in this category, in GI category, India lies at 20 in Global Innovation Index. These are the trends in copyright applications. So here also there is an increase in disposal as well as filing of the copyright applications. This picture here shows us the state-wise number of patent applications filed. So here, as you can see, Tamil Nadu is leading the tally, and Uttar Pradesh is at the third place in the state-wise number of patent applications filed. So out of 82,811 applications filed, the number of applications filed by Indian applicants stood at 43,301, which shows 46.74% increase over the last year's figure of 29,508. So the summary of the matter is that we have been successful in creating a culture of innovation by promoting our awareness about our IPR policies, by inculcating the importance of managing IPR in the workforce that we have in research and development, in the higher education institutions, industry, academia, and other scientific organizations. The top 5 Indian applicants for patents in the field of information technology are Lovely Professional University is the highest according to the annual report. 513 patent applications have been filed in the field of information technology by Lovely Professional University. These are the top 10 Indian applicants for patents from scientific research and development organizations. So IITs have filed 803 applications. Indian Institute of Science is also in the top 10 institutions. And in addition to that, you have CSIR with 231 applications filed. Shulini has filed 176 applications. So these trends are very positive, and they would be encouraging for all of us, for all the educators and researchers. These trends would uh, be encouraging. We would also want to uh, patent our inventions. We would also want to also want people to understand how we can commercialize the products, and we would also uh, be able to disseminate this information to our students, and they can also understand the importance of IPR. So that is why integration of IPR is necessary in academia and professional development programs, because looking at the trends somehow uh, gives us a positive message that these trends are going into the right direction. Uh, for uh, for attaining this status, there had to be a collaboration between WIPO and IP India. So WIPO and IP India have been working closely. They have been collaborating on organizing joint training programs. So WIPO and IP India have collaborated on several training programs for IP professionals in India. These programs aim to enhance their knowledge and skills in areas such as patent examination. So obviously, whenever we file a patent, it needs to be examined by the right kind of examiners. So the examiners also need to be trained very well. So WIPO has been collaborating with IP India for creating, for enhancing the skill of these examiners. So they have been imparting skill development programs, training programs in areas such as patent examination, trademark registration, and IP enforcement. Besides that, WIPO and IP India have collaborated on capacity building initiatives. WIPO has provided technical assistance to IP India to build capacity within the organization. This includes providing expertise in IP administration, technology, and data management. So we live in an era of big data management. You know. So the capacity building in that area also is required. So WIPO has provided technical assistance to IP India in these capacity building programs. Then policy dialogues. WIPO and IP India have engaged in regular policy dialogues to discuss and coordinate on various IP issues, including the development of national IP policies and strategies. So, how the policy is going to be, how to strategize. I had told you earlier that the NIPR 2016 was a roadmap which helped the country to to create a strategy for fostering innovation and for IP administration and management. So WIPO and IP India have engaged in regular policy dialogues for creating these national IP policies and strategies. They have also collaborated on joint research projects to study the impact of IP on economic growth, innovation, and the creative industries in India. So, impact I mean, they have conducted joint programs or projects where they have studied the impact of IP on economic growth, whether they have evaluated whether increase in protection of IPR has led to economic growth, whether it has fostered innovation, and how what the impact was on creative industries in India. What are the benefits of a strong IP system in India? So, a strong IP system in India or in any other country would be very beneficial because a strong IP system incentivizes innovation and creativity. So it's very natural when somebody, I, I had discussed it earlier also, when somebody is safe in this knowledge that his or uh, uh, her invention or the creation is protected, the person would make more efforts to create innovate be would pay more attention to being creative. So a strong IP system incentivizes innovation and creativity, leading to the development of new technologies, products, and services. So, this can boost economic growth by creating new industries, jobs, and exports. So, it's always better, with so much of human resource available in India, a strong IP system in India would help people become job creators rather than becoming job seekers because uh, a strong IP system would help in creating new industries, which would create more jobs and would enhance the export sector also. A robust IP system reassures investors that their intellectual property would be protected. So we would attract more foreign direct investment. India would become an attractive destination for FDI if we have a strong IP system. So if people from outside are reassured, the investors from outside are reassured that their intellectual property will be protected, obviously they would invest their money in India, and we would become an attractive destination for direct investment. This can help drive economic development, and again, the impact would be creation of new opportunities for business. We would also we will also be internationally competitive. So it will also enhance India's international competitiveness. A strong IP system would enhance India's international competitiveness. It protects Indian businesses from unfair competition. So we were talking about fair trade practices. We were talking about a level playing field. So a strong IP system would enhance the country's international competitiveness because we would get the a level playing field. It will protect Indian businesses from unfair competition and will allow them to leverage their intellectual property to expand into global markets. So we'll become strong and important players in the global markets if we have a strong IP system. Global Innovative Index in IPR is a metric. We were talking about Global Innovative Index, which provides detailed metrics about the innovation performance of countries and economies around the world. So GII is an index which is an indicator of how innovative a country is and what has been the impact of such innovations uh, across different economies around the world. So these metrics are based upon 80 indicators, and they explore a broad vision of innovation, including institutional environment, including the regulatory environment, education, research and development, infrastructure, and business sophistication. So these are some of the parameters on which these metrics are detailed. Overall, benchmarking is done on the performance related to 80 indicators, and the important ones are institutional environment, which includes political environment, educational, regulatory environment, infrastructure, and the business sophistication. So GII is ranking of countries as per their success and capacity in innovation. It is yearly published by World Intellectual Property Organization WIPO. So GII is published by WIPO. India is ranked 40 amongst the 132 countries in GII. So India is ranked at 40 amongst 132 countries in GII, and for geographical indicators, or rather geographical indications, we are ranked at 20. Key dimensions of the index are a legal framework. The index assesses the framework for IPR protection. Since we are talking about GII, GII takes into consideration these key dimensions: legal framework, enforcement mechanisms. So it evaluates the mechanisms for enforcing IPR, including the efficiency of courts, availability of resources, and the level of public awareness. So the level of public awareness is also very important because that empowers the public to make informed decisions. The public would be less gullible and they would be able to protect their intellectual assets. Innovation ecosystem. The index analyzes the overall innovation ecosystem in developing countries. So GII also analyzes the overall innovation ecosystem in developing countries, looking at factors such as research and development. So R&D is an important part. Investment in R&D. So what is the kind of budgetary allocation or budgetary utilization for R&D activities? Access to technology and human capital. So the innovation index is a clear indicator of how much spending is being done for promoting research and development, and how is the human capital being utilized, whether the human capital is being utilized uh, appropriately for generating intellectual property uh, assets, related assets. So these indicators are taken into consideration for getting the GII. They also assess the economic impact. So GII also assesses the economic impact of IPR protection, considering factors such as foreign direct investment. So what are the benefits of the innovation index? Why do we need to know this index? what is the impact of knowing the index, and what is the impact of being a player in the global innovation index. So the benefits are for policymakers. This index provides policy makers with valuable insights into the effectiveness of their IPR policies. So, if the policy makers have to review whether the policies that have been made are making an impact, they can refer to the index, and therefore they'll get valuable insights into the effectiveness of their policies, and they can also identify areas for improvement. So these indicators are basically for benchmarking and for auditing oneself, so that we can look for areas where we can improve upon ourselves. So the index is good for policymakers. The index is also a good referral point for investors. Why for investors? Because the index can help identify countries with strong IPR protection and a thriving innovation ecosystem, facilitating investment decisions. So the investor, nobody would want to invest in a place or in an idea where they do not see any feasibility, or they do not see any profit. So for investors, the index can help them to identify the countries where strong IPR protection is there, and the country has to be a thriving innovation hub. So the ecosystem, it also talks about the ecosystem that the country has. Researchers Researchers can utilize the global GII to study the relationship between IPR protection, innovation, and economic growth in developing countries. And based on these observations, they can rectify their studies, they can design studies, or they can look for area, they can transition to areas where they can create more intellectual property. For developing countries, the index serves as a benchmark to assess their progress in IPR protection, and they can also identify strategies for improvement. So, the difference between developing countries and developed countries uh, vis-a-vis GII is quite visible and can be seen by just looking at the numbers and the rankings. So, therefore, developing countries can also take a clue from this, and they can strategize for improvement by investing more in R&D activities, or for by looking at local uh, problems which require immediate addressals, and creating innovations which could improve the society, which can have some societal benefit and can also create intellectual property. Developed countries and innovation, this point is very important. So if we reflect on why some countries are ranked higher in the GII, and some of them are in the middle range, and some of them uh, are still pulling, like, trying to be a part of the race. So developed countries and innovation has a strong association. The development and innovation has a strong association and a positive association, because it has been observed that a strong IPR protection is one of the hallmarks of a developed economy. So, developed countries generally have well established IPR systems with robust protection mechanisms for patents, trademarks, and copyrights. These systems provide strong incentives for inventors and creators to invest in innovation. So if we just look at data, read about what makes a country a superpower, we would observe that IPR has a major role to play. Any country which has a well established IPR system is bound to be a developed country because it creates confidence in the investors. The system provides strong incentives for investors and creators to invest in innovation. So we do not have to, the countries would also already have a strong system in place. They would have a proof of concept where the investor would not be afraid of investing huge amount of money. So strong IPR protection is the first hallmark. The second hallmark of any country uh, having a high GII, we are being ranked at the higher position in the GII is advanced R&D, our advanced R&D capabilities. So developed countries have significant investment in research and development. So they invest quite a bit of good percentage of the budget is allocated to R&D, leading to advanced scientific and technological capabilities. So the leaders, technology leaders in the world, yeah, the scientific leaders in the world are developed countries because they have made significant investments in R&D. This enables them to drive innovation in wide range of fields from pharmaceuticals to artificial intelligence. And the third hallmark of developing countries and innovation is global leadership in innovation. So, developed countries often lead the world in innovation with a high concentration of research institutions. So, most of the intensive uh, good quality institutes are concentrated in developed countries. Technology companies are also concentrated in these developed countries, and the startup culture of these countries is also the ecosystem for startups is also very conducive. Therefore, the developed countries are global leaders in innovation. Their innovation ecosystems are well integrated and foster a culture of creativity and entrepreneurship. So, entrepreneurs are not so scared to invest in money. I mean, they are bound to take risks because the policies have enough safeguards and protection which allows them to venture into fields or what do you say uncharted territory. So they can venture into uncharted territory because they have the right kind of safeguards in their policies and the implementation mechanisms. So there has been a positive association of innovation and development of a country. So developed countries have always been at the have been ranked high in GII because of these three hallmarks: strong IPR protection, advanced R&D capabilities, and global leadership in innovation. So, what are the challenges for developing countries? So for developing countries, there are a lot of challenges. Uh, we are all aspiring people. We always need to aspire to be better than what we were earlier. So, uh, all developing countries would also want to join the club of developed countries. But what are the challenges for these countries? The major challenge for these countries, the developing countries, is lack of infrastructure, lack of funding, inadequate IPR protection, and then less opportunities for capacity building. So these are the four areas where interventions have to be made. So the IP India or the Intellectual Property India, IPO, and the policies that are being formulated now are addressing these issues. These four issues need to be addressed so that the challenges that developing countries face in coming to in entering the top ranks in GII index could be overcome. So limited infrastructure helps I mean does not it hinders our growth. It hinders our growth because we face challenges with inadequate infrastructure, including insufficient access to electricity, internet connectivity, and research facilities. This can hinder our ability to invest in and effectively conduct research and development. Lack of funding, the budgetary allocation for R&D activities is very limited. So developing countries may have limited financial resources available for research and development activities. This can make it difficult for them to attract and retain skilled researchers and invest in cutting edge technologies. So this is a challenge which developing countries face regularly, uh, which is, I mean, lack of funding is a major challenge because limited financial resources does not, I mean, it does not help the companies retain skilled researchers, and thus they cannot invest in cutting edge technologies. So the brain drain is one of the problems which is created because of this, and because we lose because we lose skilled manpower to developed countries, we lag behind. So we have to make some intervention in this field. The policymakers have to intervene in this particular area. Then we have inadequate IPR protection. In some developing countries, IPR protection may be weak or inadequately enforced, creating an environment where innovation is not sufficiently incentivized. This can lead to infringement and discourage investments in R&D. So our IPR protection laws have to be adequate, and their implementation has to be stringent so that the creators or the authors uh, be incentivized, and they'll not be discouraged because of fear of infringement and other issues. Capacity building. Developing countries require investments in capacity building to strengthen their IPR systems. So they need to train skilled personnel. Uh, this can involve collaboration with developed countries. So they can this challenge can be overcome by collaborating with developed countries, by collaborating with industries, by fostering a culture of industry academia collaboration. Capacity building can be enhanced, and the fourth challenge can be overcome. This fourth challenge can be overcome if we have adequate trained personnel, if we have adequate trained manpower. But lack of funding has to be addressed by the policy makers. Limited infrastructure has to be addressed by policy makers or by big business houses who can invest in such endeavors or such ventures. IPR in academia can help in addressing the problems which we were talking about, the challenges that developing countries face. It can be addressed by integrating the IPR concepts in curricula. So therefore, integration of IPR in academia is very important because we have to envision the importance of IPR in economic growth. We have to sensitize our students. We have to sensitize their parents, and we have to sensitize the educators, their trainers. Therefore, integration of these concepts in curricula has to be there. So, foundational knowledge can be attained by introducing basic IPR concepts early in the curriculum, ensuring students understand the different types of intellectual property, their legal frameworks, and the implications of their academic work. In the new education policy, all these aspects have generally been addressed because the new education policy has incorporated subjects like entrepreneurship development, IPR frameworks. Importance of IPR has already been introduced in the curriculum in the new education policy. So, introduction of basic IPR concepts early in curriculum is important. Then, integrating the concepts of research ethics and collaboration would also foster the culture of innovation. So integrate discussions on responsible research conduct, including proper attribution, data sharing, and ethical considerations for intellectual property when collaborating with others. So, research ethics and collaboration would also help. Incorporation of these modules about ethics and collaboration would also be helpful in in attaining our goal of integrating IPR in academia. It would be important for everyone to integrate these concepts in the professional development programs. Besides that, we also need to explore the process of commercializing academic research. So the problem that most of us face is that we do not know what is the process of commercializing academic research. We do not know where we should uh, like we should contact, who will help us in understanding whether our academic research is commercializable or not. Okay, we know that our idea is innovative, we know that the data that we are getting is innovative, but we would need some hand holding in understanding whether the academic research is can be commercialized. So the commercialization and licensing process has to be explained. We also need trained personnel for including licensing agreements, intellectual property evaluation, and navigating the complex process of commercializing university developed innovations or property, intellectual property. So here intervention again would be required. Collaboration would be required between industry and academia, between the IPR, the personnel who know about IPR laws and who can guide people, the trainers who are trained by WIPO and IPO India, so they can help higher education institutions and other research institutions in evaluating the understanding the process of commercialization and licensing. Therefore, integrating these concepts into curricula is very important. IPR and research funding is another aspect where awareness is required. So, grant proposals, researchers often need to secure funding for their projects. Grant proposals may require a discussion of the IPR associated with the proposed research, particularly if it has a commercial potential. So, in the grant proposals, uh, in most of the grant proposals, the PIs are supposed to make a uh, uh, write a point, or in the checklist you have a point where we have to write about whether there would be a potential intellectual property that would be generated because of the grant proposal, and whether it has a commercial potential. So IPR can be has already been integrated in grant proposals because the PIs have to make a disclosure about that. Ownership rights. Funding agreements may specify the ownership of IPR generated by the research project. So it's very obvious that the personnel need to be trained. They need the people working in this area need to be trained about the ownership rights of the IPR. So funding agreements may specify the ownership of IPR generated by the research project. This can be important for universities and researchers seeking to commercialize their discoveries. Then you have the non disclosure agreements, NDAs. When collaborating with external organizations, NDAs help protect confidential information shared during research projects. So now non-disclosure agreements have been incorporated so that the confidential information shared during research projects is not disclosed. This is crucial for maintaining the integrity of intellectual property rights. Then licensing agreements. Universities or researchers may enter into licensing agreements with companies to commercialize their inventions or technologies. These agreements detail the terms of use and disposal and other issues that have to be addressed during the licensing agreement. So, universities or researchers have to enter into licensing agreements with companies to commercialize their invention or technologies. Usually, institutions have they have offices that deal with, they have patent offices, they have patent cells which deal with all these kinds of issues. They help in creating awareness, and they also sensitize researchers and the students about most of these issues. So IPR and research funding are also closely associated. IPR and collaboration. So IPR, intellectual property rights, would be enhanced by collaboration. So you have shared ownership when multiple researchers are in institutions collaborate. Agreements should be in place to define ownership of IPR generated. These are there mostly. These safeguards are there. Like most of the companies, when they enter into an agreement or when they decide to collaborate, there are well defined agreements when multiple researchers or institutions collaborate. So the agreements are in place, and it's very clear who is going to be the owner of the IPR generated because of the research project. This may involve shared ownership or a lead ownership arrangement. So it's the mutual, based upon the contributions, they can have a shared ownership agreement or a lead ownership arrangement. Then you have agreements for material transfers. MTAs have to be signed. They are used when MTAs are used when transferring materials. So MTA, material transfer agreements, are used whenever we transfer materials like biological samples or reagents between research partners. So MTA has to be, we have to enter into a material transfer agreement. If, for example, we are transferring biological samples like plasmids or DNA or maybe any other cells or reagents between research partners, they outline the terms of use and the ownership of any IPR generated using these materials. Then we also have confidentiality agreements. So if we are generating an IPR which is a result of a collaboration, we also have to enter into confidentiality agreements, which are crucial for protecting sensitive information shared within a research collaboration. So many people are not aware of this, that whenever they share any information, sensitive information within a research collaboration, they are not supposed to share those. They are not supposed to share that information. So, in order to protect that information, confidentiality agreements have to be signed. So they help in these confidentiality agreements help in maintaining the integrity of trade secrets or other proprietary information. So companies generally have, companies have this culture of getting the confidentiality agreement signed, because we may be privy to a trade secret, we may be privy to a formulation uh, which may be a proprietary information, or it may be a formula or a unit process which we may have developed during our collaborative research. So this sensitive information cannot be shared, uh, and it's only possible when we enter into confidentiality agreements. All these uh, all these efforts are for protecting intellectual property rights which arise due to collaboration. IPR can also be integrated while students perform their research. So IPR, the students, another mechanism by which IPR can be integrated into academia and professional development programs is by introducing our students to intellectual property rights, making them aware and emphasizing upon them the importance of uh, IPR creation, protection, ownership, ethical use, and other things. So, the issue that arises when the student researchers are getting trained. So, ownership of student work. Universities often have policies regarding the ownership of IPR generated by student researchers, if, especially if their work has commercial potential. So, ownership of student work, if the student is working in a university or in a lab, so obviously the university would be the owner of that IPR generated because the infrastructure, funding, and mentorship would be provided by the institute. Although the student can also be a part of the patent, it has to be a part of the patent because he or she would have generated the data or may have done the work. So it all depends upon what kind of policies are there, and the policies need to be well formulated regarding the ownership of IPR generated by student researchers. Mentorship and guidance, faculty advisors play a critical role in educating students about IPR and helping them navigate the process of protecting their intellectual property. So the mentorship and guidance also, the faculty advisors play a crucial role in educating students. Then ethical considerations have to be taught to the students. The students should understand the ethical implications of IPR, including the importance of proper attribution, avoiding plagiarism, and respecting intellectual property rights. So ethical considerations, students have to understand the ethical implications of IPR, including the importance of proper attribution. They need to know that the correct person has to be given authorship. They need to know the importance of proper attribution. They need to know why they have to avoid plagiarism. They need to understand and respect the importance of intellectual property rights. So this is only possible when we integrate the IPR in the faculty. When we integrate these IPR related related content in the IPR related content in the curricula, IPR related content in the curricula, that it's only possible. It's only possible when we can integrate into the curriculum of the students for student researchers and other researchers. So IPR and technology transfer, licensing agreements. Universities may license IPR to companies for commercialization. This involves negotiating terms for royalties, exclusivity, and other aspects of the technology transfer process. Spin off companies. Universities may help researchers establish spin off companies to commercialize their innovations. These companies typically have a strong connection to the university and its research capabilities. So, spin off companies can arise because of intellectual property. So, again, I would like to emphasize that all this is possible when every stakeholder is made aware about the importance of IPR, the licensing policies, and IP management. And normally, students would not understand this. We also do not understand every aspect of IP management. But then, IPR and technology transfer would also help the universities create spin-off companies to commercialize their innovations. Universities may offer financial incentives for researchers who successfully commercialize their innovations. This encourages them to explore potential commercial applications of their work. So, financial incentivization may also foster the culture of innovation. And technology transfer offices at universities play a crucial role in facilitating the commercialization process. connecting researchers with potential investors and licensees. So technology transfer offices at most companies as well as research institutions have technology transfer offices. Now universities also started having technology transfer offices because they play a crucial role in facilitating commercialization process, connecting researchers with potential investors and licensing. We have also already gone through the benefits of IPR integration. The quick recap would tell us that IPR integration in academia would foster innovation, it would foster economic growth, it will help in facilitating transfer of knowledge and technologies from universities and research institutions to the wider community. It will also improve our ranking in global competitiveness by promoting innovation and safeguarding intellectual assets. IPR integration enhances national competitiveness in the global context. The challenges and opportunities that we may encounter while we make efforts for integrating IPR in academia. So the first challenge and the opportunity that we might have is the curriculum development, developing comprehensive and engaging curricula that effectively integrate IPR concepts across various disciplines can be challenging. Ensuring that faculty members have the necessary knowledge and training to teach IPR effectively is essential for successful program implementation. So, our faculty members need to have the necessary knowledge and training to teach IPR effectively. And this knowledge can further be strengthened by conducting workshops and by conducting training programs for faculty members uh, related to different aspects of IPR. Collaboration with industry, fostering strong collaborations between academia and industry is crucial for connecting research and innovation with real world applications. So, this third challenge is a major challenge that most of the higher education institutions in India face. The industry academia connect is very, very weak. So, we need to have a mechanism to foster strong collaborations between academia and industry because this is crucial for connecting research and innovation. Student engagement, engaging students in IPR discussions and providing hands-on opportunities to apply IPR concepts is critical for developing practical skills and fostering interest. So student engagement is again very important. If we catch them early, obviously if we train their minds to think in the direction of IPR, ownership, ethical conduct of research, uh, monetization, commercialization, valuation. So they would, when they will be able to apply this knowledge, they will be well trained and skilled to comprehend what is being told to them. Leveraging IPR for economic growth. So IPR will help us in leveraging for will help us in economic growth by attracting foreign investment, by stimulating domestic innovation, by brand building. So these three areas will help us in utilizing our IPR for economic growth. The future of IPR in higher education lies in many fields. I would be touching upon three fields: AI and automation. So, emergence of artificial intelligence and automation will likely have significant impacts on intellectual property law. We are in an ever evolving world of science, and with the advent of AI, we will be facing a lot of challenges. So we need a new framework. We need to have a legal framework where we can apply it to AI. The role of AI in creating new intellectual property, as well as in managing and enforcing intellectual property rights, will require crucial, careful consideration because we still are ambiguous about whether AI can be considered as the owner of a particular creation. because till now humans have been identified as the creators of knowledge. So we this is an area which would require brainstorming and creation of new legal frameworks. Virtual and augmented reality technologies have the potential to revolutionize IPR education by providing immersive and interactive learning experiences. These technologies can be used to simulate real world scenarios related to intellectual property, helping students develop critical thinking and enhancing their practical knowledge. Third field where the future of IPR and higher education lies is in biotechnology and genetic engineering. Advancements in biotechnology and genetic engineering present unique challenges for intellectual property law. The creation of new life forms and genetic modifications raise ethical and legal questions that require careful consideration as these technologies continue to evolve. So, these three fields in higher education would need to be carefully considered so that right kind of frameworks are formulated and ambiguity is stopped, or the processes are less ambiguous. I would skip this. The future of IP integration includes data protection, open source and sharing. The growing movement towards open source software and collaborative research models will necessitate re-evaluating traditional IPR approaches and exploring new mechanisms for sharing and protecting intellectual assets. Global cooperation, international cooperation on intellectual property rights is crucial for addressing emerging challenges and ensuring a harmonized framework for protecting innovation and promoting global economic growth. And lastly, ethical considerations involves ethical considerations related to intellectual property rights, such as access to knowledge, equitable distribution of benefits, and responsible innovation, will become increasingly important. A global perspective of IPR education will depend upon international collaboration, global innovation, and finally economic growth. We'll have to build a foundation for the future. So we'll have we talked about it earlier that we have to catch them young, we have to catch the students young, we have to train them early on. So we'll have to build a foundation for the future. In early childhood we can introduce basic concepts like ownership and respect for others, belongings. It lays the groundwork for understanding IPR. In elementary school, the students can learn about copyright and fair use through creative activities like writing stories, drawing, and composing music, and giving credit to the rightful owner. They can learn the importance. They can, I mean, they may not be aware of the term intellectual property rights, but they would know, they would be trained to respect boundaries. Middle school, expanding on copyright and introducing patents and trademarks may help students understand the legal framework surrounding IPR. And when the students would want to make a decision regarding their careers, the students can explore career pathways related to IPR and may delve deeper into intellectual property law and policy. So, if we start early on, we can build a foundation for the future, and this is only possible if we integrate IPR concepts in academia, uh, in the curriculum, in the training that we are giving to students in school, colleges, universities, and then when they join their professional setting. And when they join their professional setting, they'll be well equipped to know the importance and harness the benefits of their intellectual property. We already covered that we covered this that IPR education is essential in basic education because every student would understand the importance of intellectual property and their role in protecting innovation. This will empower them to become responsible creators and entrepreneurs, driving a dynamic and ethical innovation ecosystem. So if we want to drive if we want to drive a dynamic as well as an ethical innovation ecosystem, this personnel, the people, associated stakeholders need to be aware of most of the things. They need to know why it's important, how we can protect our rights, how what are the instances where it may be considered as a IPR infringement, where it can be considered, what can be considered as trademark theft and things like that. Uh, the students would also understand the value of ideas. They would respect other people, the work of others, and this will enhance their personal growth. In real world applications, technology and digital content, entrepreneurship and innovation can be enhanced by understanding IPR, because understanding IPR will help students explore entrepreneurship opportunities and protect their own inventions, ideas, and brand identities. So they would be at a better stead to create to start their entrepreneurship venture. They can also decide their career pathways. So IPR education equips students with valuable skills for careers in law, technology, business, and other fields where IPR is crucial. So, in a nutshell, integrating IPR in academia and professional development programs has a plethora of benefits. It will not only give a sense of ownership to the students, it will not only give them a sense of empowerment, but they would also feel uh, safe, and they'll also feel confident in starting their own entrepreneurship ventures. By fostering the culture of innovation, we encourage creativity, we promote collaboration, we help them in developing critical thinking, and we empower them by because the students take ownership of their ideas, and this gives them a sense of agency and responsibility. So they feel responsible for their actions. They feel good about, most of the people would feel good about something if they uh, are like, they'll feel a sense of agency if they are they have the empower they are empowered enough to have ownership of their ideas. So this will also help us in building a strong foundation for academic success. We have already talked about it, because IPR knowledge would help us in honing our critical thinking skills. Our problem solving abilities will be better. Decision making power will be better, and we'll be able to we'll also be able to analyze through IPR education would also encourage thorough research analysis and documentation, as students would learn how to properly secure and manage intellectual property rights. So we would, in this way, we'll also be preparing our students for a globalized world, because these are the students would be international citizens. They may go to other countries for their studies, or students from other countries may want to visit India for their higher studies. So therefore, our students would be at a fair footing, and they'll be ready for a globalized world if we integrate IPR concepts in our academia, in our curriculum. Our parents and educators would also be empowered enough. They would be able to make informed decisions. They can support the creativity of children. They can create a learning environment for the students, and then it will be very it will be very conducive for building partnerships between different stakeholders like parents, educators, and policymakers. They can collaborate to create a robust IPR education system that prepares students for a future where innovation thrives. So by integrating IPR, we'll be investing in the future of innovation because we'll have a skilled workforce. This skilled workforce will drive economic development, and we will also be uh, in a position we'll be better equipped to create new scientific discoveries. We can pursue science and produce groundbreaking discoveries, and they would know that because the researchers would know that their innovations or inventions are protected and rewarded. So, if we want to invest in our future, we should integrate IPR in academia. This is the call for action. So let us empower our future generations with the knowledge and skills they need to navigate the complex world of intellectual property. This empowerment of our future generations, the uh, the action that is required to empower our future generations with skills and knowledge to navigate the world of IPR would be by integrating IPR in our academia, in our day-to-day life, in the curriculum right from the beginning, maybe from school onwards, but at least from higher education institutions. It has already been incorporated, but then the students have to be trained well, and the content has to be delivered and illustrated with the help of case studies so that the students can understand the importance of IPR and management of IPR. By investing in IPR education, we can foster a society where innovation thrives, economic growth flourishes, and a new generation of ethical and responsible creators emerge. Together, we can build a future where innovation is not only valued but also protected. So, we can build a future, our students, our children can inherit a world, they can inherit a future where their innovation is not only valued but it's also protected. So it's a call to action, and all stakeholders, from parents to educators to students, policy makers, have to come together, they have to collaborate and build an ecosystem where we can utilize our energies, we can synchronize and synergize our energies for a better future. Lastly, I would like to sign off using these great words by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. According to him, excellence in thinking and action is the foundation for any mission. Excellence is not by accident, it's a process where an individual or organization or nation continuously strives to better oneself. So the aim should be to be better and to continuously, consistently strive to be better than yesterday. And we should follow the this mantra. We should always try to attain excellence, because excellence is not attained by accident. It's attained by it's a result of good interaction, sincere efforts, intelligent direction, and meticulous execution, and the right intent too. So quality cannot be achieved accidentally. It always results from good intent, good interaction, sincere efforts, intelligent direction, and meticulous execution. With this, I would thank you all for your kind attention, and I hope that you might have taken some take home message from today's talk, which would include the importance of why IPR needs to be integrated in our curricula, how it's going to affect our innovation ecosystem, how that innovation ecosystem is going to impact our economic growth, and how that is going to contribute to the socio-economic well-being of the country and the region to which we are associated with, and lastly, how it's going to make the future of our future generations better. Thank you so much, Dr. Reshma. I can see you. Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
have finished my talk.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your this insightful session. We are really thrilled to hear you today and gain knowledge, obviously a thorough knowledge on the topic. Now, ma'am, it's time for some questions. The participants have asked
All
some
right.
questions. I'm reading it
All
for
right.
you. Ma'am, first question is, how can professionals protect their IP when working as freelancers or independent contractors?
Okay, so when they are not working with an organization, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
there are guidelines for such freelancers. So the IP office has provisions. IPO office has provisions for registering uh, your inventions, and the independent freelancers do also have options for registering their intellectual property and protecting it. They need to get in touch with the right kind of agencies, uh, like IP attorneys and the people in the IP office. So the guidelines have to be seen for individual individual freelancers, because if they are not a part of an organization, so they need to register their innovation in the IPO. So they can do that, because any person who has an innovative idea, rather a product which the person feels that he or she feels that they it's an innovative product. All states, all union territories have IP related offices where they can register their invention, and then the state office can guide them about how they can go forth regarding the other processes that are associated. So every state has this office. So even freelancers can register their inventions.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the lovely answer. Now, ma'am, we have one more question. What are the potential career benefits the collaborations with IPO will bring for the professionals? Mr. Abhijit Pandey.
WIPO, right? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So World Intellectual Property Organization. So this UN agency has multiple being associated with this UN agency has multiple benefits. The benefits of the collaboration I had already talked about in my talk, but I would again like to reiterate that they can choose career pathways in intellectual property law. They can choose career pathways in being the examiners of the career of the patent applications. They can also enhance, I mean, they can go for capacity building as people who can help in writing these patents. So there are multiple career pathways which they can, which are offered as benefits of the collaboration with WIPO. Even if you look at the pathways which are registered in Indian Patent Office, IPO India. So IPO India also has multiple opportunities where trained people from science or any other uh, uh, humanities, they can also get registered there. They can get training in a particular IP related field, because IP is a vast field, right? It deals with uh, writing of the patents, examination of the patents, and then licensing. Uh, IPR attorney. So there are multiple career pathways that can be explored. It all depends upon what kind of skills the person has and what kind of training the person has acquired. So I would suggest the gentleman to visit the website of WIPO as well as IPO, because IPO has been very proactive in imparting training through their NIPAM uh, project, NIPAM. So they have been training people in different career options which are associated with IPR,
Okay, ma'am. Thank you
NIPAM.
so much, ma'am, for your answer. Thank you, ma'am. Now
All right.
it's time
Thank you.
for the formal vote of thanks. Yes, ma'am, you're saying something?
No, thank you. I was just,
Okay, thank you,
I
ma'am.
would
Now it's
just.
time for the formal vote of thanks. A very good afternoon, everyone, once again. I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Sanobar Esmir, ma'am, for her insightful session on integration of IPR in academia and professional development program. Her expertise has greatly deepened our understanding of the importance of intellectual property in academia. No one better than ma'am could have expounded on this topic with the deep understanding and vast knowledge on the topic. Thank you, ma'am, for taking the time out and join us and share your valuable wisdom on this important topic. Your presence has truly elevated the session today, ma'am. And also, thank you all the attendees for your active participation. We look forward to applying these insights in our own work. We are ending today's session here. So thank you everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
I would also like to thank the department